This is part 3 of my Gila Wilderness trip. Here's a brief recap of the last 2 videos. If you don't know, these are ponderosa pines. If you get up real close to the bark and sniff them, some people say they smell like cookies. House, and it's beef stroganoff with noodles. Peak Refuel beef stroganoff, Trailtopia beef stroganoff.
Garage Brewer Adventures.
Well, good morning. I slept all right. Wouldn't have minded just 30 more minutes of sleep, but I've got a big day. I've got a lot of miles to get in. I'm not even halfway around this loop, and I've got just one more day. Well, I've got 2 days, but tomorrow I need to kind of be as close to the truck as possible so I can get out. So it's kind of, I need big miles today. I'm at about 15 miles so far around the loop, and it's almost a 37-mile loop. So I'm not even halfway, but the rest is descent mostly. There's a descent and a climb today, but then it's mostly descent. I'm almost at the highest point of my hike. So anyway, I'm not going to stress about it right now. I'm going to enjoy a cup of coffee and the scenery for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to pack up and get out of here. All right. Got coffee, got all packed up, hitting the trail. I'm at the very end of the Hell's Hole Trail, and I'll be meeting up with the Woodland Park Trail. I still don't know why it's called Hell's Hole. It wasn't really hellish, except for the weight on my back, and it was actually really pretty, and I didn't see any sort of hole. So I don't know, there were no holes. It was unholy. Maybe that's why it's called Hell's Hole. Anyway, plan for today is to go as far as I can. I need to try to push even more miles than yesterday, but it should be mostly downhill. I think I already said that, but I've got about 8 miles to water, and I have just under 2 liters of water on me, so I've got to make that last, and then I should be able to fill up. So I don't think I'm having lunch until I get to the water, because I was planning to make ramen, and that's going to take a lot of water. So got a good push. Let's see, so 8 miles should maybe take me about 4 hours. It's not quite 9 o'clock. Probably about 1 p.m. Yeah. Fingers crossed. All right. I think that's all right. Following Woodland Park Trail for a little bit. Well, doesn't look like much, but I'm at 7,400 feet, and this is the highest point of this particular loop I'm on. All right. Woodland Park continues that way. West Fork is that way. West Fork, Lily Park. Okay, I think I'm staying on Woodland. I am going to double check. Where's the split though? What are they talking about? Well, yeah, signs. Okay, they're definitely pointing right for West Fork and angled for Woodland Park, but I don't see a split. Let me go down maybe just a little further. See what All Trail says. Well, according to this, I'm not even at the split yet. It said 3/4 mile. Maybe it means it's coming up. That's a strange sign. Okay, another sign. Whatever it says, I'm certain I need to go left. I should be taking Trail 12 up to Pryor Creek Trail. And I should be going off of Woodland Park. So that should mean, yeah, Pryor Creek that way, Woodland Park that way, West Fork that way. Huh. It doesn't seem to match what my map says. My map says this is Woodland Park. Maybe there's, I don't know, whatever. Another sign. Still saying Woodland Park's to the left. Alright, Pryor Creek's definitely what I want. This isn't a split either, they're just telling me I'm going the right way, I guess. I also noticed on the map there's a Woodland Park tank where there's possibly some water, which I might have not carried all that water if I'd known. Although I don't know, I don't have a water report for it, so I don't know if it's actually got water in it. Probably safer to do what I did, but man, it was hard. Well, the Woodland Park tank does have some water, and I think I'm starting to figure out all those signs that said Woodland Park was this way. I think they were referring to the tank. Looks pretty dry, but still has some in there. I'm gonna skip it. I got enough water, I think. Pryor Creek, 1/2 mile. The Meadows, 4 miles that way. Well, that's not on my map. I'm not going to that though. Alright. Something strange. I'm going back to that sign. On my map it says Pryor Creek is where I want to go. But All Trails shows that I'm off trail now and I'm heading the wrong way. So I think I was supposed to turn where it said the Meadows. I'm expecting to climb. I was expecting to turn and climb. So that must have been it. I'm trying to understand if I misunderstood it. Whatever. Alright, we're going this way now. Yep, All Trails shows this is the right way. It does say Pryor Creek, Trail 156. Actually, either direction. I don't know. I don't see anywhere where it says Meadows. Maybe if I keep going that way. I don't know. Whatever. This should be my last climb. It won't be as high as it was before, but I descended to here. Now I gotta go back up. And then, should be all downhill the rest of the trip. I just powered up with some trail mix. The Gila Wilderness area is an area that was the mountains were formed by a couple of volcanic events, I don't know, a long time ago. But a lot of the rock out here is volcanic or igneous rock, so there's a lot of different varieties. I just took some pictures of some ones that kind of all look similar to each other, but you see some, like I saw some smooth square rocks that look just like Swiss cheese. And I don't know, also maybe try to get a few more pictures of other varieties. Well, I think I'm at the top of my climb. That was a slog, although not as steep as the getting out of the canyon yesterday. Not much to see here. You know, the scenery is not as good as the canyons, but we can still sniff pondy pines. Yeah, that one doesn't smell like cookies. I don't know. Still telling me I'm going to the meadows. Okay. This should begin my descent down towards the Middle Fork Canyon and towards the water. And it looks like there might be a view over here. Nice place for a campsite. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, this looks risky. This trail has been sketchy in a couple places, but this is pretty crazy. God. Finally made it to the bottom of the canyon, and I think this is just a connecting trail to the the Middle Fork Trail. I don't hear any water running. I sure hope there is some water. Pretty dry down here. Haven't quite reached the river, but I did see some water over here. Oh man. Green sludge. Stopped to make some chapaghetti noodles. These are delicious. 570 calories of noodle goodness. All right, I got lunch in me. I'm gonna keep going. I'm at about 24.7 miles into this loop. There's Jericho Springs at 29 miles, so I'm gonna go check that out. And then just a little past that, 31.7 is where the trail splits from the Middle Fork to Little Bear Canyon, and I don't think there's going to be water. So I think I'm going to camp right there. That'll give me 5 miles to get out tomorrow, and that is manageable. So I don't know what all that math works out to, but I got a little bit to go, but nothing too crazy. My legs are giving out. What have I gone, about 15 miles so far? Got another mile and a half to go. Let's skip Jordan Hot Springs. It kind of sucks. I wanted to see it. I just started, I haven't seen people in 2 days. Today I've seen 2 pairs of hikers I've passed. But, so I got close to Jordan Hot Springs and all of a sudden there were tents everywhere. There's quite a few campsites there. I don't even think they were all full. There's maybe 5 or 6 people. And even the next 2 campsites past that were occupied. I walked up to the springs to check it out. There were like 2 people in there in their bathing suits sitting in the hot springs. I assume. I couldn't really tell. I kind of, as soon as I saw them, their dog was looking at me, and I was like, I'm just gonna back away before that dog starts barking at me. And so I snuck out of there and didn't see it. So yeah, if you want to check that out, it's Saturday, so you know, maybe if I'd have been out there on a weekday, it might have been better. But whatever. I'm about a mile from where I want to camp, so I'm pushing on. I'm ready to be done. Well, I didn't film much of the setup, but I'll show you around camp. This camp is right on the trail, which is a little annoying, but back where I was going to camp up the trail was the intersection for Bear Creek Canyon. They had a whole bunch of campsites and they were pretty filled up, and I just didn't want to be up in there with all those people. So this was the next one that was free, and it's right on the trail, so beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, it's got a kind of a nice little bench. It's flat but kind of wobbly. Just got a couple things out. Got my fire going. Got my water. My water bottle just barely clears the ground. Got a nice little sitting log over here too. I've just got my shoes drying out. Got my tent all set up, ready for sleeping. And I got my line, all my stuff, and my backpack's hanging there. Bear canister. Some socks are drying. That's about it. Time to make some beef stroganoff. Getting ready to dig into this Trailtopia beef stroganoff. Sour cream sauce, noodles, beef, mushrooms, and onions. And this one is, well, it's 360, it's 720 calories because it's 2 servings. I noticed they don't give the measurements. It's 2 1/4 cups of water. They don't give it in milliliters. And so this is the most water. This also, they ask you to cook for 12 minutes. So it's the most water, and it takes the longest to cook of the 3 that I tried on this trip. Initial taste, it's probably the blandest of the 3, and I'm gonna let it sit a few more minutes. I think everything's hydrated, but the onions are still a little crispier than I'd like them. So I'm not a big fan of onions, and it's a little more oniony. So I might be this one might be cursed for me. But I'll give it a fair shake here in a little bit. I'm definitely hungry. The Trailtopia beef stroganoff was kind of terrible for me. It was very, very oniony, and it was very bland. It didn't seem to have it. I don't understand how foods had 1,300 milligrams of sodium, and it didn't seem salty enough. And I'm like, where did all the salt go? So I don't know. If I yeah, this was my least favorite. If I were to compare the 3, like kind of breaking it down. So the noodles, as far as the noodles, I felt like these were the worst. They kind of turned into mush as I was eating them. They didn't stay noodle-like. Mountain House, and I would say it was maybe the next best. They at least had good noodles. And then I just kind of like the rotini, the little spiral noodles that Peak Refuel had. Mushrooms. This had mushrooms. They tasted okay, but I felt like there was a better mushroom flavor in the Peak Refuel and the Mountain House. Similar. I felt like Peak Refuel maybe had a little more mushrooms. As far as the sauce, I think that this was definitely the worst. If you like onions, you might like this, but I mean, it was really oniony. I'm glad nobody's out here to kiss me, because they would not want to. None of the others were real oniony either. But as far as the sauce, I would say this one was the least flavorful. Mountain House was kind of the next best and was kind of good. It was kind of what I expected. Peak Refuel had like definitely a better sour cream taste, a little more just a sourness that you get from that. What else? So the meat. Okay, so I will give Trailtopia the beef. They did have good beef. That was the only thing that seemed to have any salt on it. It was seasoned well. It was little bits of beef, similar to Mountain House's beef stew. So I'll give Trailtopia that one. But Peak Refuel also had little bits of beef, and I thought theirs tasted better. And I would give, on the meat category, I'd give Mountain House the lowest score with the little hamburger bits. I think that's all the things that are in there, isn't it? Yeah, so anyway, overall pick, Trailtopia was the worst, Mountain House next best by a lot, and then Peak Refuel was pretty good. Oh, one other category is the water and time. So the Peak Refuel was the best on that one too, with the least amount of water. Mountain House was the next best, and Trailtopia was the worst. Also, Trailtopia had the longest time. Mountain House and Peak Refuel were both the same. I will say Trailtopia and Peak Refuel both say not to stir halfway through like Mountain House does. I went ahead and did that on all three just to make it an even test. And honestly, I think you should do that. So I don't know why they don't ask you to do it. Yeah. So anyway, that's the overall. That's the end of the beef stroganoff challenge. Anyway, I have a bad taste in my mouth. I'm going to wash it down with a little whiskey, and then I'm going to go to bed, and I got to get out of here kind of early tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the morning.
Morning. Last day. Time to get out of here. I think I'm just going to go. I'm going to skip the morning rituals and just pack up and get out of here. I've got an appointment in Santa Fe, so I've got to get to the truck as fast as possible. Should be pretty light since I've eaten almost everything.
All right. All packed up. Gonna head up to Little Bear Canyon. Let's see if we get the sun hitting the tops of those canyon walls. I'm gonna start my hike. Little Bear Canyon. Okay. Oh, it's cold in here. cave. I was down there, just a bit of a shelf. Those rocks that just won't fall on me. Man, that was a little rough getting up. Meadows or TJ Corral? I guess I'm on TJ Corral. Oh, hey, wilderness boundary. Ah, crap. Gila Wilderness, Gila National Forest. I might not smell like it, but I'm officially civilized again. I believe if you want to go back to the West Fork, you'd go right if you want to stay in the woods. If you want to go to the parking lot, you'd go left. I see a bridge, a parking lot, and some vehicles. Oh God. I'll let you look at this while I babble. So this trip, I don't know, kind of the last night, I was just a little extra lonely. I was texting on the messenger, the satellite messenger, but it's slow, and you get a couple messages here and there. But I just kind of wished I had someone with me, which is kind of unusual. I don't usually feel that way, but this time so it's funny because I never want to go back home. I always want to just stay out here. It's not because of the people in my life. I want to see them. It's just I wish they were here instead of me going back there. So, sometimes I see the truck and I'm happy to see it. Sometimes I'm kind of sad. This time it's bittersweet. I really want to get... I'm about an hour away from even a cell phone signal, so I just want to drive and go talk on the phone. That's what I'm looking forward to. More than even a cheeseburger, I think. I don't know how much of this I have. Pedestrians next quarter mile. Well, what about me? I'm on this side of the line. And do people just get to hit me? Run me over? Oh, well. There's definitely some paint. A wilderness, in contrast with those areas where man and his works dominate the landscape, is hereby recognized as an area where the earth and its community of life are untrammeled by man, where man himself is a visitor who does not remain. In order to assure that an increasing population accompanied by expanding settlement and growing mechanization does not occupy and modify all areas within the United States and its possessions, leaving no lands designated for preservation and protection in their natural condition, it is hereby declared by the policy of Congress to secure for the American people of present and future generations the benefit of an enduring resource of wilderness. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you can follow along on all of my future adventures.